Minds bring together men and women on a melanated minds journey to embrace self-love and empowerment through understanding and taking care of their mind, body, and soul. Melanated Minds is an exclusive community that uplifts and supports one another. The network made for us. Join the Melanated Minds Network today.
So discovering the power of pen and paper. And the reason I say that journaling saved my life is because I was hit with some devastating news in December of 2022, and it just rocked my world completely. And even though I had an amazing tribe, I had amazing friends and people that were there for me, there were still rough patches on that journey that maybe I couldn't speak the words or I didn't share something with someone because, I needed to just kind of waddle in my feelings for a little while. Or sometimes people just don't understand. You feel that they don't understand because of just the responses that you receive. So my journal helped me a lot with just being able to truly release what's on my heart. I wrote my prayers. It's not always a dear diary, and we'll get into that in just a second. But journaling truly saved my life, let's get into it. So, what is journaling? The journaling is practicing of regular writing down of your thoughts, feelings, and experiences in a private notebook. This is a notebook that only you have access to. And if anybody ever decides they want to pick it up and read it, they better enter at their own risk. This journal serves as a tool for you to do some self reflection, your personal growth, and to talk about your emotional well being. And this is where I tell you that, your journal, when we were growing up, everything was dear diary, dear diary. And at that time, most of the things that I wrote down were just angry feelings or things that I was going through. I could never reflect on journals when I was younger with happy moments. But your journal is not just for your anger, your journal is for your growth. What does that mean? That means if you're mad, write about it. If you need to pray, write about it. If you are celebrating something, write about it. So that as you go back and you reflect on the things over your life, it's just not all dreary because our life is made up of more things that help get us upset. There's happy moments, there's celebrations, there's love, and there's all those type of things. So that's what your journal should definitely be used for. What are benefits of journaling? Emotional release. Listen, you ever have, and I know right now everybody can think of something that is weighing on them. We haven't shared it with anyone because we either don't want to talk about it with someone or we don't know how they're going to take it. It might even be about them and we don't want to have that conversation. But we need to release it, y'all. Release what's on your heart. And a lot of times, releasing it means releasing it in my journal. My journal is my safe space. I can say what I want to say. I can use any type of language I want to use. I don't have to worry about writing in the lines. I don't have to worry about using periods and perfect punctuation. It's my release. So, however it pours out onto paper, you should release it. Clarity and insight. Sometimes when we have things on our heart and things on our mind, it's just all jumbled up. It's just a big ball of all these emotions that we're not clear about. We don't know what to do with it. When you release it, now you're getting everything out. So now you can go back and get clarity. You can read through what you've written and say, okay, what can I pull from this? How can I grow from this? Because sometimes we can't get clarity and insight on things that we're dealing with because it's just so much. It's the issue itself, it's how we feel about it, it's how we feel about the people that are involved. So releasing it also allows us to be clear about what it is, what we need to do, and gives us insight into our next step. Goal setting and achievement. If you have some things that you want to accomplish, if you have some things that you want to do, use your journal and document it. Write it down, brain dump, get it off your mind so that once you look at all the things you just released about this specific goal or anything in the future you want to get accomplished, it makes more sense because now you can look at the things and you may have 10 things written out. You're like, okay, I don't even know why I wrote this because I'm not. Sometimes it makes more sense once you've said it or once you've written it on paper. And you're also journaling your achievements. What did you achieve this week? Because listen, you got to be the first person that celebrates yourself. If you're not celebrating you, how can we expect anybody else to celebrate? And sometimes your celebration is written in your journal. You go, girl, you did that. Write it out. How do you feel? And it's just a great place to also document what's going on. Creativity and problem solving. Be creative. I have a journal I use for writing. I have a journal that I use for doodling because sometimes I like to create. And even though I'm not an artist, and sometimes I'll be like, what in the world did I just draw? It helps me release. But it's my safe space. So I don't have to show it to anybody and get their judgment about, what kind of stick figure did you draw? That's not a real person or whatever, people have to say about things. But it's my space to release. If I see something, sometimes it comes out in drawing versus writing my words and just being able to problem solve. I will quickly jump on trying to figure things out without taking a moment to think about it. But my journaling serves a space for me to be able to write the issue out and then figure out, okay, what can I do about it? What do I need to say? What do I need to do? Who do I need to call? So definitely it's a good place for you to do that. How do you start journaling? Your journaling starts with you. Is it something that you want to do? Is it something that you need to do? And set aside some time to do it. I hear people talk about the expectation in journaling, and I can't journal every day. I don't have time to journal every day. Your time to journal is your time to journal. If you say on Sundays at 8 o'clock before I go to bed, I'm going to journal, then that's when you journal. If you say I'm a journal every night before I go to bed, that's when you journal. Your time that you set aside for journaling is yours. Nobody knows your schedule. You do it as often as you like, and it starts with you. Setting aside the time to do it, though, allows you to be more structured with building that space to journal. Finding your style. You can have a notebook, you can have a pad of paper by your bed, you can find prompts that you can journal about that help you start journaling, or you can just start with a blank piece of paper. You can do it in art form. You may like to draw. I like to draw. I can't draw, but it helps me release. So there is no set style to how do I journal, dear diary, or how was my day? You find the style in which you want to journal, and every time you journal, it's going to be different because it just depends on what are you journaling. Be honest and authentic. The only person that you have to be true to in your journaling is you. You don't have to say, oh, I'm not going to write this in my journal because so and so, this is about so and so, or what have you. No, this is your journal. This is where you can be yourself. You don't have to put on a happy face if you feel like crying. You don't have to put on, being the strong person. You don't have to do that with your journal. Your journal is you. If you think that, you're dealing with something and you need to talk to somebody and you don't want to tell that person, write them a letter in your journal because that process will help you release all the feelings, all the anger, or say things that you want to say to them, but you can't. I'm going to put it on paper and now I'll reevaluate that. So now that maybe I can go have that conversation. Create your safe space. Your journal is a safe space for you. And like I said, I don't typically hide my journals. When we were growing up, we had our diaries and we hid them so nobody else can read them. Listen, if somebody pick up this journal, they are entering at their own risk. Believe me when I tell you. But I'm not going to downplay how I feel or what I want to journal about because I'm scared somebody may find it, see it. And I know that we are sharing very private information in our journals. So if you feel you need to lock it up somewhere or hide it somewhere, do so. It is your safe space, and you have to protect the space that you're writing in. Review and reflect. Your journal allows space for you to review and reflect. You can use your journals to track your growth. I remember I can look back at some old journals that I had, and I'm like, ooh, child, your journaling has changed. My journaling has changed because I have changed. I no longer, allow things to really get me out my hookup before I spend time with myself about whatever that is. So your journal allows you to track your growth. We're growing every day, and we should be growing through the things we're going through because it's us. It's us, right? Set new journaling goals. Add more days. Tell yourself, I'm going to write something I'm thankful for every day. Set those goals because it helps you release. The goal to journaling is being able to release. We hold so much in through all the hats we wear, through all the tasks we have to complete. We hold a lot of things in. And going back to the previous presentation, we should be thinking about ourselves. What are our self-care goals? So including those things as part of our journal. And how do you feel? You should be able to review and reflect on how you feel. What you write about how you feel today may be completely different than tomorrow, may be completely different than yesterday. But I truly believe that being able to release, reviewing, and reflecting contributes to our growth. Be encouraged. Release what's on your heart. We talk about, we can tell God everything, but do you? Do I? We talk about, our tribes and being able to share things, but do we really share the nitty gritty? We might scratch the surface a little bit depending on what it is, but you utilize some time in your day, no matter if it's once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, to truly release what's on your heart. It's like being in business, right? You have a business and you got all these tasks you want to do. And all these tasks are running circles in your brain. If you never write down those tasks, how do you organize moving forward with them? It's the same thing with releasing what's on your heart. If you don't write them down in whatever form, you may write with a pen, you may use your notes in your phone, you may use an iPad, but if you don't ever release what's on your heart, how do we begin to grow from that? We just let it continue to pile up until we break, because we all have a breaking point. But if we release these things, it gets chopped down. We chopping down the tree, and we're able to start really focusing on those things.
Melanated Minds bring together men and women on a melanated minds journey to embrace self-love and empowerment through understanding and taking care of their mind, body, and soul. Melanated Minds is an exclusive community that uplifts and supports one another. The network made for us. Join the Melanated